Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing and welcome to my channel. My name is Marilyn Bruce. I'm a Ghanaian-based women's wear fashion designer. So on this platform, I upload sewing tutorials once a while. Well, that is about to change very soon. The main focus of this tutorial is going to be on how to achieve the size structures. But I'm going to take you through a short process of how I achieved the making of the bodies. So first off, I'm going to be joining all my seams together using a half seam allowance. After stitching all your seams together, you're going to take this to your iron and iron nicely. If you've already seen my corset kente video, you'd realize that this is a different method that I'm using. So in that video, I stitched the interface separately, the kente separately, and then the lining separately. But with this particular method I'm using, you can see that I've infused my interface on the corset or on the kente. This is a different method, or this is another method that I'm using to achieve my structured kente body. So you can just take a look at what I'm doing and then you're going to see the end result. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating my boning channels using my side seam allowances I created. So I was supposed to iron my seam allowances before stitching my boning channels, but nope, I went ahead and I cheated. So you can see me struggling with the curves around the bust area. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Always iron your seam allowances or your channels or whatever so that you don't struggle. Yeah, unless you know what you're doing, of course. But I mean, this is the right way to go about it. You need to iron all the time. Yeah, so after stitching your boning channels, you're going to insert your bone, and then we take it from the next stage. So you can just watch what I'm doing. Well, personally, I prefer this method to the other method. If you haven't seen that video already, you can just go through my channel and you're going to see it. I prefer this method because it's very simple and is less time consuming as compared to the other one. So you can use this method if you don't want to use the first method that I used. Yeah. Once you're done stitching your boning channels, this is what it should look like. Already looking structured, well, thanks to the interface. Yeah, but before that, I'm going to be stitching my ridgeline bone or the stitchable bone in between all the channels that I've created. So this is what a plastic, or I mean stitchable bone looks like. Yeah, so you're going to be stitching that in between the channels. Okay, so here I didn't have a masking tape, so normally we secure the edge with a masking tape, but I didn't have that, so I just went ahead and I stitched it raw on the bodies. Yeah, so that is what I'm doing. I'm going to be stitching it in between, so you can just measure half inch or 1 inch in between and then you're good to go. This is the outcome of my bodies, and like I said, this tutorial is focusing on the side structures only, but I just decided to go through a little process with you. Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're just going to measure side by side, like what I'm doing, so you can just watch what I'm doing. So you measure from one end of the front, the other end at the back. Whatever you get is going to be your waist measurement for the structure. Okay, so you have your brown paper ready, and you are going to fold that diagonally, or you fold it on bias. So just like I did, you're just going to do it the same way. So the folded edge is going to be the edge of the structure. So you can just watch what I'm doing and you're going to understand. So you're going to mark down your waist measurement you got after measuring. Mine was 14 inches, so I just went ahead and marked down the 14 inches. The next thing to do is determine how long you want the structure to be. Is it the thickness? So mine, I think I made mine 4 inches. So you can make yours four, you can make it five, you can make it two, whatever that suits the look you're trying to create. You just go for that. So I just marked my 4 inches, and you're just going to square that down. You're going to rule out that line. Sorry. After that, you're just going to drop it down. You're going to slant it a bit down, so the folded edge is going to be the edge of the structure, whereas the ruled line is going to be the part that's going to join the waist. So you can go ahead and then design the edge however you want it. Yeah, so I think that's basically it. So this is one method of getting that structure. I'm going to show you another method as well. So after you're done, you can pin it to your kente. You can pin it to the dress form to see how it looks like. If there's any shaping out, you need to do that to correct the look before you go ahead and cut it on the main kente, so you avoid any mistakes. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to trim off any excess or any unwanted piece. Yeah. Yeah, I realized that the structure was a bit too sharp, so I'm just going ahead to trim off the excess. Like I said, this part is needed. So if you don't have a dress form or mannequin or whatever, you can do it on a table. You can just place down your top on a table and then pin it down, or you can let somebody wear it, or you can wear it yourself and then do the necessary corrections. Okay. As simple as it is, I'm going to be taking you through another method. So you're going to fold your brown paper diagonally and you're going to take it to your mannequin. Okay, so you're going to um pin this down on the mannequin, and then you're going to shape out your structure. I personally prefer this method. Yeah. See how beautiful it looks like already. So with this, you're just going to take your pencil, chalk, marker, whatever you have as a marking tool, and you're going to shape out the design you're trying to achieve. Yeah, so this is basically it. With this method, this is how you go with it, and you're basically done. So that is what I'm doing. I'm just drawing out my shape that I'm trying to achieve. You're going to do this all the way back. So you can just do one as a template and then you use that to cut the other side. You're good to go. So you usually cut on a diagonal form because you want to achieve the curve. If you cut on a straight um fabric, or if you use a straight brown paper to draft, you're not going to achieve the curve. So you're cutting on bias because you want to achieve that curve. Okay, so that's why you cut on a bias or you cut diagonally. Yeah, so this is also another method. I'm going to teach you the last method. Okay, so this is like the three methods that I know of, and I think there are other methods, but I prefer to go with either of these three. Yeah, so the last method is just the half circle method. Okay, so with this method, you just take your fabric or brown paper if you're trying to draft, but I'm doing this straight on my fabric. What I do is fold my fabric into two, and then I'm just using the half circle method. Okay, so if you know how to draft a circle or flare, I'm just using that method, so you can watch what I'm doing and you're going to understand. Yeah, the line I just do is the waistline. So using the half circle method, the waistline you got, you're going to divide that by 3.14, and whatever measurements you have, you're going to mark that down as the radius. And then the length of the structure you're trying to achieve, I used 4 inches for mine, and then you're good to go. So I think that's it. This is what it looks like after cutting, and I'm going to be trimming off the edges because I don't want to have any pointy edges. So I'm going to shape out the edge so I can have a nice curve. So that is what I'm doing now. So using whichever method that you want to use, you go ahead and then interface. So if you are kind of confused why you are seeing a green kente and now you are seeing yellow kente, I'm just using this to demonstrate to you guys how to achieve two methods. Okay, so with the green kente, I use the very first method, and then with this yellow kente, I'm using the circle skirts method. So I'm just using them interchangeably, so don't get confused, it's the same thing. Okay, so after you're done cutting and interfacing, you're going to be stitching your boning channels. So somebody asked me the last time where I achieved the lines. So this is how you achieve the lines. So you're first going to stitch the edge of your kente. Then after you are done, you're going to flip it over. Okay, and then you iron it nicely. So with in stitching the edge, you're going to leave one end of the kente open, which is going to enable you pass your bone through. Okay, so you can watch what I'm doing and you're going to understand. Like I always say, yeah, it's very self-explanatory. After you're done stitching the edges, you're going to flip this right side out. And as you can see, I have left one side of this open because it's going to allow me insert my bone. You take this to your iron and press it nicely, then you are ready to stitch your channels. So depending on what size of bone you be using, you need to create the channel accordingly. So in case you're using like a half-inch bone, you need to create a channel that your half-inch bone can you can insert through that space. Okay, so don't stitch anything too big or anything too small. Your bone will enter, or if the space is too big and your bone is a little smaller, it's going to look funny. Your the channel you're creating should fit perfectly with the bone and it's going to give you a very good look. So that's basically it. You're not going to cut exactly the length of the structure. You're going to reduce it by 1 inch because of seam allowance, because you're going to be stitching the rough edge. Okay, so don't cut the bone exactly the same length as the fabric. Yeah. So after you are done insecting, you're ready to attach this structure to your bodies. Okay, so that's basically it. Like it's very simple and you can give it a try and see how the outcome is going to be like. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm done with everything. This is the outcome of mine, so you can give it a try as well. So I used the first method to achieve this particular look. Okay, so the first method gave me this structured look for this green one. Okay, and then the flare method gave me the outcome for this. Okay, so see how this is standing and looks very nice. So this is what the flare method gave me. So whichever method you want to go for is up to you, but if you want to go for this, it's also up to you. And I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions, you have any suggestions, you have anything to tell me, please tell me in the comment section. I'll be there reading. Thank you for watching. Bye.